Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View on Back, and it's Friday.
Yay! Jean's Friday.
Not that we don't absolutely love coming in, but we do enjoy our weekends too, as I'm sure you all do.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us today. We're here with Carmen, Kendi, and Mary.
Hello.
And as always, we've got a full show today. And coming up, we're going to have Mel Haider come in and talk about a very dramatic story as a mother that she went through. But first, we want to make a little correction just to clarify something on the Newtown loyalty payments.
So from yesterday, we talked about the loyalty payments for getting the vaccine. And so basically yesterday during our segment on Newtown Public School loyalty checks, we stated that the money came from federal taxes. We received clarification regarding the loyalty checks from Newtown School Board President Delvin Driver Jr. that the funding originates from oil royalties. So we just wanted to put that out there and make sure that our viewers knew exactly where it was coming from.
I like the fact that we do that. You know, when we misstate information, I think it's wonderful that we own it and we work to correct it.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's
All right, and we'll keep doing that too. We just want to get the information out there, and it's not always easy to get, especially because we were actually told the incorrect information. We did call a source at the school district, so but we found out otherwise. But so we were talking about the loyalty payment, and I want to talk about Biden's press conference. But first, can we just a little bit talk about this whole loyalty payment, because bribing people to take vaccinations scares me.
Yes,
and do
me
you
too.
know that in Nashville, all the strip clubs are giving lifetime memberships?
Wow.
Lifetime memberships to strip clubs. Not really good for community and family life if you show that you got vaccinated.
So you can get donuts, you can get strip club memberships.
Yep.
I thought this vaccine was for a virus.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, they're going to use these incentives, and it is going to probably get to the point where they're going to say, I'm sorry, you cannot come here if you're not vaccinated. Right now,
Right.
they're just enticing us with these offers, which it's disgusting that they would even use a strip club as an incentive to get a vaccination. But I think it's going to turn into something more later. So.
I say let people decide. We
Yeah.
shouldn't be having these incentives.
Right,
No.
isn't it supposed to be about personal health?
Yeah.
And isn't it supposed to be a personal health decision? And so why are you having to incentivize people to get it?
Right.
Right.
It's a
Maybe,
little
maybe we
scary.
need to go back to what is the motive here?
Right.
You know, it's
Inform
just
people
weird.
and let them make their decision.
Right.
But I want to move into Biden's very first press conference after 64 days in office. He finally did have one. I'm going to show you a clip, and then I'm going to throw it off to you guys. But I just want to say, I actually thought he did better than I expected, but there were a lot of problems. It seemed like he was campaigning and not really explaining what he was going to do, blaming Trump for things, and especially the part about the border. I really don't like his answers, and here's a little clip from that.
To be able to have access to the facilities. We've obviously been allowed to be inside one, but we haven't seen the facilities in which children are packed together to really give the American people a chance to see that. Will you commit to transparency on this issue?
I will
Mr.
commit to transparency, and as soon as I am in a position to be able to implement what we're doing right now. So this is being set up, and you'll have full access to everything once we get this thing moving.
Okay, and just to be clear, how soon will that be, Mr. President?
I don't know, to be clear.
Did you move too quickly to roll back some of the executive orders of your predecessor?
First of all the policies are underway. We're not helping at all. Did not slow up the amount of immigration and as many people coming.
Ladies?
Wow.
Where do we
to
start?
begin? We will start.
Ooh, who wants to go first?
I tell you what, you know, he had printed note cards. He had pictures of the reporters with their name beside their picture, so that he knew who to call on. There were 18 reporters. I have it written down somewhere here. Yeah, there were 28 questions, 18 of which were follow-ups from 10 reporters. Now, you tell me, let's just compare for a little bit, because Biden did say in his press conference, they referred to his predecessor, and they asked him, you know, are you going to run again? And he said, oh yeah, you know, or no,
Absolutely, I'll be
they
running
said,
again.
well, no, but first they said, your predecessor had already declared that he was putting together a campaign already by this time in his presidency. And he says, oh, my predecessor, oh, what a guy, or something like that. And he said, I sure miss him.
Oh,
and
brother.
It's like, no, he's still in your head, Joe. He's still in
lives in your head,
everybody's
Joe.
head. He's got free rent in D.C. in everybody's head. It's crazy. But yeah, it was sad to me to watch. I mean, I can't. Out of all the Democrats in the United States of America, you need to pick on a gentleman who obviously has cognitive issues, and it's elder abuse. That's the way I feel about it.
Wow. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
So I looked at an article today from The Hill, and they had written up, you know, their views on this press conference, and I thought this was a perfect statement that they made. They said that the news reporters, they asked mostly cotton candy questions from a mostly marshmallow media.
Wow.
Right.
I mean, that's spot on. I think I was curious to know, I haven't gone and watched The View recently, but I was curious to see, like, how were they going to handle President Biden's first press conference? And they were so kind to him, and they even called him President Biden, which they never acknowledged President Trump by his name. So I found that to be super interesting and telling to me, actually, that they would be so encouraging of this man who had to rely on his notes to answer the questions.
And read directly from them.
Right. I found it interesting when they had said, or he said, as soon as I'm able to. It almost sounds like maybe he's not the president, and there's still a
Right.
lot of conspiracy theories out there that there's something bigger going on behind the scenes. And you know, I hold out hope, and they're saying there's information there. I just wish we would know for sure that this is a true presidency. I'm just going to leave it right there.
You're right.
Well, there were a lot of non-answers. Like when I thought he acted like he was on the campaign trail, we need to do something about the infrastructure. We need real paying jobs. Okay, well, what's your plan?
Yeah,
I'm not hearing about
you're
a
the
plan.
president, let's
I'm
get
just
her
hearing
done.
you.
Yeah.
We need to do this. And what really bothered me, because it's like, oh, seriously, you think you're going to cure the problem at the border because we need to go to the core of the problem. We need to go to the root of the problem. You're going to fix Guatemala and Honduras and Mexico while you're at it. Let's just work on the border.
Right.
And the fact that he said, yeah, I'm going to let you come and look, and the reporters can come and take a look at what's going on at the border when we're ready.
Yeah.
As soon as
Do you know
I
what-
am able. What is that? What
Do you know
does
when
that
that's
mean?
going to be?
You're the president.
Well-
you are able. You
Yeah.
can do that.
You get to
can
call
make
the
that
shots.
call.
Yeah, you get to call
You
the
get
shots.
to do that.
I think he's a puppet, though. So honestly,
Oh.
does he really? I mean, as soon as I'm able, honestly.
As soon as they
who's
let me, is that what you
controlling
mean?
him? That's
Well-
what I mean.
Obama did say, you know, wouldn't it be something to be able to have his ear and just be able to speak to him on a regular basis? And it's like, Anyway, okay.
All right, more to come in the future, but we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the whole transgender bill, both in North Dakota and South Dakota.
And it shouldn't be called transgender bill. It's a women's rights bill. Let's,
It's a women's
let's
rights
set it
bill.
straight.
Amen.
Women's rights in
Amen.
sports. That's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. And did Governor Kristi Noem cave? Because that's what the left is saying. So we're going to take a look into that when we come back with Ladies
Yep.
of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota. Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Beck Communications is now hiring independent sales agents around the state. We're looking for highly motivated individuals to take advantage of this opportunity, selling advertising for our news and sports programming on Beck TV and sponsorships for the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team. Independent sales agents will make 50% commission on their completed sales for all products. Beck TV is the leader in broadcasting local sports, owner of the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team, and originator of newly launched news opinion programming. Submit your application now at careers@bechtel.coop. This is an exciting opportunity you can't pass up. 50% commission for independent sales agents now hiring at Beck Communications.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. So we're going to keep moving on here. Our next topic we want to talk about is women's rights in sports, transgender bills.
Not transgender bill, women's rights bill.
Correct. However, there are at least 7 states having similar bills.
And the media is making it a transgender bill, and it is not. It's a women's rights bill. We need to make sure that everybody knows that.
Yeah. It is, because when we promote the transgender aspect to it, because obviously that's why we have it, is because then they turn it into, we're the big bad guys, we don't care about children.
Right.
But when it's a women's rights bills, it's like, are you forgetting like the rights that are being trampled on of our daughters in sports?
Where did the Me Too movement go?
It doesn't exist.
It turned into the Not Me movement.
When's the last time you heard anything of the hashtag Me Too? And it was so prevalent there for that time during Kavanaugh's hearing. That's when it really took off, right? And now you just don't hear it, and it's like, do you not care about women anymore?
Well, there was an accuser.
You know?
Only certain women.
There was an accuser against Biden, and so it quickly disappeared there.
That's true.
Right,
That's true.
she got silenced. Anyways, we digress, don't we? So easy to do. It's not commercial break, you guys. The show's we're back on, so we got to stay on topic. So our bill in North Dakota has been amended, and so the full Senate will be voting on it, and they amended it to not include the university level or private clubs. It's just K through 12. In South Dakota, the governor also amended that bill to not include the university level. And it is being portrayed in the press, in the left media. She caved, and my first reaction was, oh, why did you cave?
Not Christy.
Well, let's just take a look at this where she explains exactly what's going on.
And back since November, I've been consulting with legal scholars and professors across the country, asking them, how do I protect women's sports? And they've gone through the steps to how I would legally challenge the NCAA and keep them from bullying the state of South Dakota. And what they've told me to do is that I need to build a coalition. So that's why today I launched DefendTitle9Now.com. And that's going to allow us to build a coalition of states that can fight the NCAA. Listen, I'm sick and tired of the NCAA threatening states, challenging us, and bullying us. And so we're going to build a coalition of leaders, athletes, and people who want to protect women's sports and want to make sure that our women keep Title IX in place to protect their right to be competitive and to be rewarded by participating in these team sports, and make sure this coalition can fight the NCAA to make sure we're protecting Title IX.
Oh gosh, I just have to applaud her.
Yes, yay, yes.
Oh,
yes,
I love that
because I
woman.
realized, oh my gosh, why would I pay any attention to what the left media was saying?
Yes.
She did not cave. She doesn't want to get tied up in court, so she wants to move forward with protecting the rights of girls, K through 12, and then let's tackle it at the university level.
And I think it's more prevalent at the university level, which is the bad thing. There's more people, more transgenders in college sports than there are high school sports, and so that's the sad part about it. But it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But is that where the Board of Higher Ed has some power? That's another whole topic, but what does the Board of Higher Ed really do? I really want to know. But anyway, I had a quote from Christy that said, she said, I understand getting into a fight, but I don't want to fight just to fight. I want to fight to win. I want to make sure that we really do push the NCAA down, we push big business down, and we really end up with a victory that allows us to really make sure only girls play in girls' sports. And so that tells you, I mean, she's thought this through, and she really is serious about, I will take on the big boys. She took on the federal government wanted to mess with boys and girls events in rodeo. I have a quote on that, and that's kind of where she did her first big fight for boys and girls and keeping it straight. And so she is leading in
Pun
many
intended.
areas.
Oh man, she is such a leader. I love that woman so much. She's such an example. And one of the things that she said really stood out to me, and it reminded me of a billboard when you drive to Fargo from Bismarck. It says, "Bullying hurts." And you know, there's so much emphasis within the school system, within our society, that we shouldn't bully. But here we see it continuously from the left.
Yes.
They bully us, and they make us think that our views we're bad for thinking that it's okay for girls to play against each other, and we don't want boys to come in and compete with them. And they put pressure on us to conform to their ideas. And I'm sick of it. And so I'm so grateful that she is doing what she needs to do to stand up against this and to say, they're bullying us, and we're going to push back, and we're going to fight.
That's right.
Oh, I love that woman.
Absolutely. Now, I like what Mary said about the university level, because it's a whole nother story there. And I don't know if anybody watches basketball, March Madness. I don't. Okay, so you might know a little bit about this, a little bit more. So USA Today, they have an article entitled Oral Roberts University isn't the feel-good March Madness story that we need, because they are the underdog and they beat Ohio State. And so now they're going to the, going on to the something 16, I don't know what it's called.
16?
Isn't it the final 16?
Well,
I thought it
okay,
was
so they're going
Sweet 16, maybe.
Sweet 16, they're advancing. And now all of a sudden they're saying, wait a minute, this Christian university does not allow transgendered, I don't know if you call them males or females, but they have a policy at their university that you play the sport in the sex that you were born in. So they're saying, wait, this is a hateful university. We should not be celebrating them, and they shouldn't even be allowed to play. So right now, Oral Roberts University is standing alone with the big schools, and they're going to be under attack. And so it's going to be harder and harder for faithful universities that
Shame
don't
on
bend.
them. Shame on them.
This is exactly how they get people to conform. I mean, they put pressure on the schools. You know, if you want to play sports with us, you have to abide by these rules. And if you don't, you're not playing. And so I hope that they stick to their guns and they do not conform, but it is so difficult to do. And man, we need to get behind those type of schools.
Well, that's what
and
Kristi
support
Noem is
them.
doing. She is not caving. She is creating this coalition so that we can fight this. And I want to just mention a story. This just happened a couple days ago in Minnesota at one of the schools there. They made a decision, the courts ruled that a student who, I guess born female, has facial hair now because it's gone through all the transitioning stuff. She was on, she was on the swim team. And she wasn't allowed access to the boys' locker room. Instead, what they did was give her a separate bathroom, a facility to use. But that wasn't good enough, so she sued, and she just won $300,000 that the school district has to pay out.
Oh my gosh.
At least, so
Why?
Because
It
she
hurt her
didn't get to
feelings.
go into the boys' locker room.
She was excluded. She wasn't inclusive.
Even though they gave her her own facility, that wasn't good enough because she wasn't included as a male.
So did she swim as a male or a female?
She swam as a male, but she was born a female. but she wanted, the suit was because she wanted access into the boys' locker room.
Wow. It's disturbing that we care so much about the one. I mean, you think about boys who are in their dressing, and regardless of how that person identifies, if they know that this person was born as a girl, they're identifying as the other sex. I mean, still, you would feel so uncomfortable. At least I would.
You should. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Like you're just going to cause yourself more trouble. And the school felt they were accommodating her, but no, they had to have
And then you get it into a liberal court and they have all these damages to pay out. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
We need to take our country back, and that's the end of it. I mean, and you know, they talk about woke versus awake. We are awake.
There you go.
We are. Join us. Yep. Do not fall asleep, because we're going to be right back with Ladies of Another View. We'll be up with Mel Haider, who has a dramatic story, so don't go away. Right in this minute. Next minute with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground. Enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Beck News brings you real people and real news. Every weekday on KNDB, KNDM, and KRDK. Start your evening with the Dr. Duke Show at 4. Take a fresh look at current events with Ladies of Another View at 4:30. Go down the road with Joel at 5:30. Watch No Apologies with Becker at 9. Cap off your night with No Filter with Debbie at 10. Beck News. Real people, real news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are joined now with Melody Haider. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Melody became a friend of mine after I heard her story. I actually was collecting stories for the Amazing Grace book series, and she has one. It's quite dramatic. It begins with she and her husband Mike finding out they were expecting a new baby, right?
Right.
It was happy news, right?
Right.
And then what happened?
Well, at 16 weeks, we had an alpha-fetal protein test done, and within a week, they called and said the test result was normal. So I took it for granted. Within the week, they called my husband and said they read the wrong test report, that there was something wrong with our baby.
Wow.
So come in, and they will do an ultrasound or redo the test. Well, we had the ultrasound, which confirmed that our baby was going to have spina bifida. And so with that news, we went to Mayo for...
Well, when you got that news, what was your reaction?
I didn't even know what spina bifida was.
Okay.
And so when I read it on the
Were you
computer...
scared?
Yeah, it was very scary because along with spina bifida, what it is there's an opening in the spine. So it depends where the opening is depending on the defect they'll have. And so if it was higher, she'd be paralyzed. She wouldn't have bowel and bladder control. She would have hydrocephalus. So all these things I read, yeah, it was very scary.
Yeah.
And so you went from all excited that you were going to have a new baby to,
We went to Mayo
gosh.
and we had a second opinion, hoping they were wrong. But the doctor called and they confirmed that she was going to be paralyzed from her waist down. She was going to have hydrocephalus. She'd have a foot growing out the side of her leg. And so they made her out to be that she was going to be this little monster. And so at that stage of my life, that was not something that I thought I would want to sign up for.
Yeah. Can I ask how old you were at the time?
I was 26.
Okay.
I was 26.
Okay.
And how long had you been married at that point?
Just a year. We'd been married a year. And so we did not think this was something we wanted to sign up for. But we knew that abortion was not a word that we'd ever used and ever wanted to do.
So you didn't even think about abortion, but then the
No.
news got worse, right?
Right. And then, so then we thought, you know what, we'll just be induced to have the baby. And then...
But I want to slow up a little bit because you were told she had spina bifida, but then didn't other tests say, oh, she has even more problems?
Yeah, there was one weekend when I didn't feel her move anymore. And so we called the doctor's office and they said they're not surprised that she just passed away. Come in Monday and they'll do an ultrasound. And so we went in Monday and she was as healthy as, her heartbeat was as good as can be. And so then we moved onward.
I wanna spend a little time when you were in that stage of just paralyzed with fear. And like you said, we didn't want to sign up for this. Like, oh, forget it. She looks like a monster. What kind of life would she had? And you didn't even think about abortion. And even when they didn't they say, we'll just induce labor and let nature take its course, right?
Right. And so we thought that was a pretty good idea.
At what point in the pregnancy
this was
were
about
you?
probably 19 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So we thought this was kind of a good idea. It was kind of a way out, number one. And number two, why would we want to bring a child into this world with all these problems? That's where we were thinking at the time.
Right. Wow.
So there was no place in Bismarck that would induce us. So we had an appointment the next day in Fargo to be induced.
And so at no point did you think you were having an abortion.
No.
And you told your mother what was going to happen, and then she asked you something that's
Well, she asked if
changed
we had
things.
called the priest, if there was, if we were going to have a funeral for this baby or what our plan was, and I hadn't thought about it. So I had called Father Vetter, who is now Bishop Vetter, and I asked what we could do with this baby afterwards. And knowing Father Vetter, being a relative, he said that this is considered an abortion, and I will be right over. So he was over within 15 minutes, and he told us that, we know better, and this is not something the way I was raised, and that this was something that he knows that this is something that we would not want. So he said, keep going with your pregnancy, and if she's as bad as they say, we don't have to do any life-saving measures when she's born. So I thought, well, that's good. Either she's going to be healed, or we won't do any life-saving measures, and then she isn't going to make it.
So at that point, it wasn't until Father Vetter came over, you realized, oh, I guess we are going to have this baby, right?
Right. And then at 32 weeks, we had a care conference at the hospital. And then he said, no, you have to do everything you can to keep this baby alive. That these babies do well when you put a shunt in. And so we needed to go on. We didn't have a choice if we were going to do life-saving measures or not. So at this point, we decided to go to Fargo just to have a whole new look. And so we met with the doctor in Fargo, and so we were going to have her on January 5th with a C-section in Fargo.
Wow.
Well, the night before we left, my water broke in Bismarck. And so we went to the hospital here, and
see, I never heard this part of the story.
Yes, so we went to the hospital here. All our families were there, and I remember my husband was sitting up beside my head when they were doing the C-section, And I'm thinking, okay, God, do your thing. This is it, you know. And so we thought her head was going to be the size of a basketball. We should have her foot growing out the side of her leg. So we thought we were going to have this little monster.
Yeah.
So when she was born, they took her right away. And I remember asking my husband if she cried or, so when they pushed my bed into the NICU and I heard a baby crying, they're like, that's your baby.
Oh my gosh.
We have a
That's
picture of her when
goosebumps.
she was, look at her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're like, that is your baby. And I'm like, oh my God, she's beautiful.
Wow.
And you fell in love. I mean, you already had started to fall in love with her
Right.
while you were still
Right,
carrying
after
her.
we knew that there was hope for her and that she was going to be okay, and or not, however it was, we were ready for it.
Wow. Yeah, I was curious to know what you felt during your pregnancy once you had made that decision.
I was
that you're
ready.
gonna
I was
push
ready for
through
it. I was ready for whatever God had for me, for us. And so
I just can't imagine though the emotional upheaval, the ups and downs. Talk about a roller coaster of
It was.
just unbelievable pain and sorrow and
It
joy
was.
and
Right,
you know.
up and down. Like first, we're so excited we're gonna have a baby. Oh my gosh, not this baby.
Well, if it wouldn't have been
And
for our
then-
faith and our family, we would not have Haley. We would not have been spared that.
And you were, because originally you were told she's never going to walk, she's never going to talk. And let's look at a picture of her when she was just a cute little girl. Look at her. She did use a walker.
So beautiful.
And how old was she there?
She was probably 4.
Wow.
She had little braces on her feet and she walked with her crutch.
I want you to share with us, though, you were rocking her in the nursery. And you, tell me what happened. You had this moment, this God moment.
I had a God moment that God had told me that she's going to be just perfectly fine. He made her as perfect as can be, and that no matter what, she's going to be fine.
Because she did have 4-hour surgery when she was first born to close.
Right. The spine, and she had a shunt put in a week later.
And so she wasn't 100% healthy, but she was perfect for you,
She
right?
was perfect. Right, she was perfect for us. And all the doctors, all the doctors that Dr. Manaski played a big part in helping Haley and helping us to deal with the hydrocephalus. But yeah, she's been perfect ever since. She's been a miracle.
I bet when she was this little girl in her walker.
Oh, she was a doll.
Didn't everybody think she was a little
she was
doll?
a dolly. She was a dolly.
And here's Father Austin holding that baby that, if it wasn't for him, she might not have been
Correct.
born, right?
Yeah. Yep, he played a big part of us moving forward with our process.
And just helping you see, because you just thought everything sounded fine. That's why I think, how many women are coerced into something, they don't even realize there's anything wrong, because it sounded like, okay, we'll just induce and then nature will take its course.
And we would never know how perfect she was if we would have went through with that. We would never know the beauty and the lives that she's touched and changed if we would have went through with it.
And Father Austin is now Bishop Vetter in Helena, Montana. We miss him, but he's doing good elsewhere. I guess we can't be stingy with our our priest. And he's a cousin of yours, right?
Right.
I don't know, like second or third, but isn't everybody a cousin with the Vetter? If you're from here, we're not from here,
I'm
so
not.
we're not. So okay, there's more to the story. As Haley, it wasn't all smooth sailing. So we're gonna continue this right after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we're going to continue our conversation with Mel Haider. She explained that her daughter, who had spina bifida, they told her all kinds of things were going to go wrong, and she thought she just needed to induce the baby, let it die naturally. Instead, she had Haley and fell in love with this little girl. And what happened? They had told you her foot was going to grow out of the side of her
Right, she
leg.
did have a clubbed foot, which surgery took care of.
Which is way different than what they told you to expect.
Right. Yep, and she was beautiful. She was only in the hospital for 1 week after she was born. She had her shunt put in, and 2 weeks she went home.
Wow.
Unreal.
She's your little miracle.
And so she is our miracle.
Wow.
You bet.
And she was your first baby, so you didn't, I mean, this is your first experience. This is what being a mom is like. And it wasn't the same as what everybody always experiences, right? You did have complications.
Right, we did. But the whole way, it kind of kept me on my knees with my faith. It's going to be Haley that's going to take me to heaven, because I realize what a gift she is. This isn't my story that I'm telling. It's God's story that he wants me to tell for the hope.
And then 3 years later, you had your son.
3 years later, we had our son, and we were very nervous the night we went in for, or the next day, the day we went in for ultrasound. We were very nervous, knowing that no matter what it is, we take him for who he is. And but by the grace of God, he was good. I did go into early labor with him. I was on bed rest, but nope, he's good.
So with Haley's development, were there any major parts, I mean, some that were more difficult to overcome, or?
Well, she walked with crutches. When she was in 3rd grade, she started self-catheterizing herself. With spina bifida, you don't have bowel and bladder control where Haley's spine was left open. She self-caths.
In 3rd grade?
Yeah, in 3rd grade, she started catheterizing herself.
Oh my gosh.
So there was a lot, but you didn't see it because she was so cute. So people didn't realize what I went through with her, because she was always adorable.
Right.
And
she went to regular school?
She went to St. Anne's, and then she went to St. Mary's, and she had extra help in school, but she did well. She went to her proms. She went to both proms. Her senior year, she was sick with shunt. She had to have shunt revisions, so her senior year, I think she had 9 surgeries that year. Right, where we were down in Minneapolis. That was very, very hard.
Especially for a high school girl.
Yes.
You know, to have to go through those kind of surgeries.
I'd like to hear about her personality. I mean, is she just the light that
She's always positive. And everybody's her friend, and she's a saint, really. She is on her way to sainthood. She never talks bad about people. She's always joy-filled. She doesn't complain. She carries her cross very, very well.
Well, speaking of her cross, I told you to give me whatever pictures you wanted me to use. So we included one where she, I think this was in high school when she had those 9 surgeries, was
Yes.
it? And
This was in
so this isn't easy
2013.
to see, and she really hung between life and death. I remember I was in a book study with you, and we thought she might die.
This was 2014 when Haley had a colostomy done. 4 days after her colostomy, she ended up with ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and so she needed to be put into a coma for a month.
Oh, wow.
2 weeks into the coma, they decided that they weren't able to keep her alive. They need to put her on the ECMO machine, which is where they take the blood out and oxygenate it in a machine, and then they put the blood back into her. Wow. And I mean, it was very much so. She had like less than 10% chance of living. And the day they put her on the ECMO machine, I remember I signed the paper, Mel Haider, Jesus, I trust in you. I felt like Abraham felt when he handed Isaac over. And we walked away.
Chills.
And by the grace of God, I mean, all the nurses were singing and praying, and I mean, it was definitely a God moment. And the best part about this story is she went into her coma the night before Advent. And she woke up from her coma on Christmas Eve.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, what a gift.
Yes.
And so you
it
had
was
let
beautiful.
her go. While she was in utero and she stopped moving, you thought, oh, she's died. Now, all these years later, you thought, okay, now's the time, and you let her go.
Yep.
And she came back.
And 2 years after that, she moved out on her own, which was nice. And 2 years after that, she got married. In 2019.
Look at this.
Yes, Haley got married to Trent Hoffman, just a beautiful young man that took Haley for who she was. And yeah.
Look at this.
And on that day, I remember thinking, when God said she's going to be perfect, just wait and see. She was perfect, just wait and see. And with all her therapy, the one thing she wanted to be able to do was walk down the aisle with her crutch, with one crutch, and she did it.
Wow, that's so neat.
And who married her?
So, and the beautiful part is that Father Vetter came back. He was in Rome for 25 years, and by the grace of God, he came back that summer, and he was available, and it was Father Austin that married her, and the same one that baptized her.
Oh my God.
So,
And the same one that is her very reason for being born and
Yep.
alive today, and he married her. That is just such a story.
Wow.
yes.
I'm thinking of you, and I know you've spoken about your daughter, and she is amazing. But I can tell just from this short interaction that we've had with you that she gets that from you.
Oh.
I mean, no, really,
I would say so.
what you have done is amazing, and you have such grace, and you can tell you are a good person.
Well, I make it my prayer. I make Haley's life my road to heaven. That's what I believe. I believe God puts these people in our life with disabilities to see, are we going to accept them or are we going to deny them? And if you deny them, you deny Christ. And I think that we'll all have to answer to that someday. And so I just hope I can be a good example to having a child with a disability. It is not easy, but it's possible, and it can be our road. It's our pathway to heaven.
Yeah.
And what a blessing, because she really has changed your life. And it's funny, having known you over these years and going to book study with you, you're just a regular person trying to find your way, asking silly questions sometimes, and looking for answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, you know that saying that God doesn't call the equipped, he equips those he calls. And to me, you're a perfect example of that.
And he did. And I think of Mary, you know, her less than perfect situation during Advent when Gabriel came and said, you're going to have this child. And she's like, no way, this is like not right. And that's how I felt too. It's like, I can't have this kid. This isn't right. Well, then you see that, you know, God did have a plan. All I had to do was say yes to it.
Oh, gosh. That's
So, and my
wonderful.
husband also. I mean, he played a big part in this too.
Right.
But
And even, I
Yeah.
suppose it's even affected Jaden, because his big sister, and every time I have ever interviewed anybody who's had a child with a disability, the whole family in many ways has been blessed by that experience.
It has been. Jaden has been good about understanding that I had to go to Minneapolis a lot of times. It would be just Haley and I in Minneapolis. Mike would fly down for the surgeries and fly home. But Jaden took off of school. Father Johnson allowed Jaden a month off when she was in Minneapolis, because every day we didn't know if she was going to live or. So Jaden was with us the whole time down when we were in Minneapolis.
Wow.
In 2000.
So I bet there's a maturity that he has that other kids his age don't have. I mean, he was on one foot was in high school and the other foot was at his sister's deathbed. Right. And then to have that joy that she made it through and got married, walked down the aisle and got married. Who expected that? And Trent sounds like just you told a story once where you were all together, your family, and Trent was there, and you were helping Haley with something. And he said, "This is my job now."
Oh yes, he's very good. He takes care of her. They go through a buffet line. He fills his pockets with the forks and the knives and the napkins, and he's very, very good. He pushes her in her chair. He's very good.
Do they live in? They
in
live
Bismarck.
near you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
Haley
awesome.
works for Bisman Transit, and so she has a job, and
Awesome.
yeah.
That's amazing.
God has blessed you in many ways.
He has.
Yeah.
It's
And
been my.
It's not the story that you chose, but it's even a better one, and that's what I always hear from people.
Well, and
in
I
this.
do. I mean, the cross gets heavy at times. You know,
Right.
I complain about carrying my cross sometimes, but like we all do. And then you just pick it up and you just keep on going.
Yeah.
And that's important to hear too, that it's not always easy. But I want to thank you so much for coming.
Yes,
and
thank you.
sharing your story.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I know there's a lot of people that aren't just entertained, but personally feeling like you're speaking to them and helping
Yes,
them
thank
through
you.
their own journeys. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
Beck Communications is hiring. Beck Communications is seeking qualified candidates for plant technicians in our Wheatland, North Dakota location. Beck Communications is an equal opportunity employer. To view the job details, visit www.beck.coop. To apply, email your cover letter and resume to careers@bechtel.coop. Beck Communications, making connections that matter.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are now already into the lighter side.
Goes so fast.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had a happy ending that last one, so we already have started
I don't know how we can get any lighter. I mean, that was
beautiful.
Pretty light.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was
Yeah. So I just
inspiring.
appreciate that story so much, and appreciate Mel being willing to share it because
Yes, indeed.
for the benefit of others.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing woman.
Well, I have a little of inspiration for you, and we'll talk about it after we watch this little video.
Grab a piece of paper, write down your name and the name of someone you know, then leave a blank space for a stranger's name. Got it? Good. Now, during the upcoming week, do something kind for each person on your list. It could be anything. Maybe it's treating yourself to something you love, raking your neighbor's leaves, or complimenting someone you don't know. That's it. Seem too simple? Well, it's not. Scientific studies show that random acts of kindness actually improve health and life satisfaction. They increase energy, optimism, self-worth, and our sense of belonging and connection in the world. Plus, they decrease anxiety, depression, and blood pressure. This transformation happens not only in the recipient and the giver of kindness, but surprisingly, also in the person who happens to witness the act of kindness. This means that if you do one act of kindness for one person today, and someone happens to witness it, you can, in that moment, improve the lives of 3 people. So do something that will make your future self proud. Share the power of kindness with all 3 people on your list. And who knows, if we get enough people practicing enough kindness, we might just set the world right again.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it too. It's basically, what is it? It's the golden rule.
Yeah.
Do unto
Yeah.
others as you would have them do unto you. Now, I want to say something a little cynical here.
Uh-oh.
This is lighter side, Patty.
It's
Bracing.
It's kind of light-ish. Is that I heard the saying once, and I think it's so true, that it's not in the Bible. It's not true because it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible because it's true. And isn't the golden rule true? And here's my cynicism, is that so often, now that we've taken religion out of society, we have to come up with other things. And in reality, this golden rule really is scientific. It does make you feel better, it makes other people feel better, and it does cause a chain reaction. So,
And you know what, in today's world, how many people actually know what the golden rule is? We grew up hearing
true.
it. I think
you're right,
I think
Carmen.
there's 1 or 2 generations
Yeah.
that probably have never heard it.
Yeah.
And it was so prevalent, just like the 10 Commandments always hung on everybody's wall. And you don't see that anymore either. You know, it's a different world that we live in. So the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that puts a whole new paradigm shift into our world today, because that's not what you hear today. It's like, what's in it for me? You know, and so when you can shift that, and it's amazing what it does to your own personal psyche when you get out of self and try to just help somebody else just because they need help. Or maybe they don't even know they need help. Maybe they just need that smile. Maybe they just need you to hold that door like you were talking about the other day on our show. Just those things, those little things that are huge. You know, you hear stories about some people that I heard, I mean, there was this kid that was planning on committing suicide, and somebody gave them a smile and just said, "How you doing today? It's good to see you, and I hope you have a great day." You know, basically that was the gist of the conversation. And this kid said, it kept me alive that day and it changed my life.
Wow.
Because somebody actually reached out and cared about me for that little bit. And when you stop and think about that and what a cold world we are, or we're in it for what it will, you know, what's in it for me, that's not the same thing as freely giving of yourself just because when what you give, you get too. There is that. But if you're going into it saying, well, I better get this back, you're probably not going to get it back because you're in it for the wrong reason, you know?
So just kind of going off of that, I think that that's something that we can focus on with the rising generation, those who are younger than us. Give them opportunities, take them out, teach them, do things with them that are random, that are kind, and help them experience that and point out how they feel. Like, ask them, how does that make you feel? And just really encourage that within them. That's a good point.
Those are great ideas. I know in our sorority up at Minot State, one of the sayings was, to receive much, you must give much. And it is true, even in the Bible. It's like the more you give, the more comes back to you tenfold.
Exactly.
And so just help others, and you don't have to tell people about it when you're done, by the way. You just do it in a random act of kindness in secret is the best way to do it.
Yep.
You know, I interviewed a speaker and writer. She was an author, and I can't remember her name, but I'm going to have her on the show one of these days. But she said one of the good consequences for a bully is that they have to keep a notebook and do 3 random acts of kindness every day, and then write down their experience, because it can be life-changing, right?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Right. I thought it was a great idea.
It's really good.
And then you hear these out-of-state people that say, do you know in North Dakota they'll pull off the road and help you change a tire? If you got car trouble, they'll help you and they won't even charge you for it. And they're just shocked. But that's the North Dakota nice that I hope we don't ever lose.
Yeah, me too.
Right. And it rubs off on people. So the more people are nice to you, the more you want to be nice to other people.
That's right.
Well, today is we've come to the end of our show, and I want to wish you a good weekend and be back on Monday. And following our show is Down the Road with Joel. Camp, so you might want to take a look at that, and we'll see you on Monday on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Woohoo!